Hi, and welcome to the first AutoCAD Map 3D 2008 training course. I'm Gary Morin, and over the next few weeks I will be showing you the ins and outs of AutoCAD Map. This series of training courses are designed for people with some AutoCAD experience. They're designed for people who are new to AutoCAD Map or who have been using AutoCAD Map for some time. There's a lot that Map can do, and we want to show people how to exploit these features. We'll start off though in this first training course just looking at the map interface layout. If you are a traditional AutoCAD user, you may be somewhat horrified at the new menu layout. For instance, we have View, Create, Modify, Analyze, Setup. It's not quite as scary as it initially seems. Through Create we have your traditional line commands, polyline commands, etc. But I know that when people move your menu command items around, it can be really difficult and hard to get used to it again, especially if you've been using AutoCAD for some time. So what we can do, and probably the main lesson to learn here, is under the View pull down, we can actually go down to the menu toolbar layout, and we actually have a choice of 3 different menu layouts. At the moment we're in the Map 3D for Drawing menu. This is really just a reworked standard AutoCAD menu with some extra commands in there for Map. Designed really for new users, people who aren't familiar with AutoCAD. We have another menu similar to this one called Geospatial for when you're linking out to external data sets in their native format. For instance, ArcSG, Oracle, shapefiles, etc. You could spend quite a lot of time in using that menu. And we have the Map Classic menu, which we're going to jump to at the moment. So just click on that, and in comes the Classic menu, a whole series of toolbars. Let's just remove some of those for the time being. And you'll see across the top now we have Edit, View, Insert, Format, Tools, the familiar standard AutoCAD menu. We actually have a new one down here where all of the map commands are sat. And there's a few commands hidden underneath File, etc. And you notice we also have this work area, or the task pane, here on the left hand side. At the moment it's hidden underneath all my toolbars. Actually, what I'll do is a quick tip here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but we now have workspaces. In fact, these came in AutoCAD 2007, and a workspace is really to save the look and feel of how you want to work, where you want your toolbars, etc. to be. If you haven't got this toolbar in, right-click on the main menu, right-click on the toolbar menu somewhere. In fact, let me just hide that. Right-click on the toolbar, and unfortunately this is off screen now, but you should have a toolbar called Workspaces. If it's not on, toggle it on. Move it into a position you like, and what we can do now is come along here and save. Once you've removed all your toolbars, you got your screen the way you like it to be, give this a name and just save it. I won't save it now because I've already saved mine, but I'll just go to Gary, and in comes my menu, i.e. with all the toolbars removed the way I like it. Simple and easy to do. Now we can get to this area now on the left hand side. This is known as the task pane, and if the commands are not available in the map pull down, they'll be available in the task pane. The task pane itself is divided into 3 separate areas. The display manager, which is how data appears, what colour lines it is, the order in which it appears on the screen, how it's hatched, does it use transparency. The Map Explorer, which is used more for traditional CAD data, bringing the CAD data in from other drawings, analysing it, linking it out to databases, etc. And map books, i.e. when you want to plot out a whole series of plots for an area over and over again, generate a map book can save an awful lot of time. So this is your task pane. If you don't have a task pane there, all you have to do is go up to the View and click on Task Pane, and it's gone. Task Pane again, and it appears. If you don't want the task pane to appear, we can go to Map, down to Options, and on the right hand side here under Startup Options, toggle it off, and the task pane won't appear when you first go into AutoCAD. If you do want it, just toggle it back on. Well, that's the end of this training course. A quick introduction on how to replace your menus back to familiar AutoCAD menus. In the next training course we'll be looking at some of the features in Map. I do hope you join me then. Bye. Hi and welcome to the second AutoCAD Map 2008 training course. I'm Gary Morin, and in this session I will be giving you an overview of the additional features you get in AutoCAD Map over the standard AutoCAD. I'm going to concentrate initially on data connections. You can get through to them by going down to the task pane and clicking on Display Manager, clicking on Data, then Connect to Data. Now the data connections allows us to go out to other GIS formats and pull the data directly through into AutoCAD Map for us to work on. It's actually being pulled through in its native format without any need for any conversion. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to use shape data for now. Let's use shape data. Click on and pick my shape file, SSI file here, and hit connect. Let's just add it to the map, and we should see an extra layer added, this light yellow layer here. If I tell it to zoom to its extent, you will see the shape data, the shape objects being shown in AutoCAD Map. Now, shape data normally has attribute information, and when you go to convert shape into AutoCAD using other means, i.e. DXF, you quite often lose that. But if I just select the layer here and click on Table, these are all the attributes connected to the shape data I've just pulled in. In fact, if I want to see where the Bloodwell Marsh is, all I have to do is to select the object, select the row, and we should see that object selected now on my map. Now perhaps I don't feel that SSI should appear in a light yellow colour. If I want to alter the way it looks, I can just go up to Style and change it. In fact, I could add a new theme and theme them on based on different values in the attribute data, but for now I'm just going to click on the Style, choose the hatch pattern I want it to appear in. In fact, I'm going to leave it as solid. I'll choose a colour. Let's go for a dark red. Just alter it. In fact, under colours we can actually go down to more and pick any colour we wish it to be. But I'll leave it like that, hit OK, and we should see all our sites now have changed colour. Now the beauty about the data connections is that it doesn't matter where the data is coming from, whether it's Esri shape files, Esri ArcSDE, MapInfo tab files. You've got data stored in an Oracle database, Microsoft SQL Server. Once you pull the data in, the way it works and the operations you have on it are identical. So for instance here, I'll just turn that layer on and zoom to extents. In fact, let's turn on the SSIs as well. You will see that I actually have another set of data, but this data is being pulled through from MapInfo tab files. If I turn on this layer here, what quickly popped up, that's theme data being pulled through from Microsoft SQL Server. And like any other data being pulled through from the data connections, if I fire up the table, here are all the attributes connected to those objects in Microsoft SQL Server, and if I was to pick one, it will zoom me in onto that object. So you can see one of the big advantages of the data connections is allowing you to go out and pull GIS data in its native format directly into AutoCAD Map. The other big advantage of this is that it's very fast compared to normal AutoCAD data. When we define layers, we can actually save their definitions into a layer file. I've actually done this already for some master map data, so let me just go in, hit load layer and pick my OS master map data and click OK. You can see straight away we have a new layer definition pop in, and let me zoom to its extents. So this is me loading it into this AutoCAD drawing, and can you see the speed in which that comes in? And let me now just zoom in and show you just how much data is actually in there. Let's just zoom in a small way. Let's pan down and carry on zooming in a little bit further. You can see there's an awful lot of information here, and like all the other information, if I click on table, I can actually now pick on any object in this table, and obviously it will select and zoom to us and show us that information very fast. I wouldn't like to do that in standard AutoCAD map without using the data connections, or in standard AutoCAD without the ability to use data connections. Thank you. In the next session we'll go into more detail of how we can edit this data and save it back. But if you have any questions or any comments, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much. Hi, and welcome to AutoCAD Map 3D 2008 training. I'm Gary Morin, and in this session I'm going to be showing you some more of the data connection features. In our last session we saw how by using the Data Connect menu we could bring in data from various geospatial databases and GIS data formats into the current AutoCAD Map session to view and look at and use. I now want to show you how you can actually edit and update information. Let me go to my SSI site information, and let's zoom in onto a site for us to work on. There we go. Let's imagine we want to edit this area here. If I was just to select this data is being pulled through from Esri shape format. So if I want to edit this data, I need to select it and then right click on the object, and we can go down and check out the feature. This just basically means that no one else can now edit this information. Then I can just use the grabs and pull it to the shape I wish it to be. Of course I could use snaps. Then all I have to do then is right click again, and this time you can see the menu, the options have altered, and now I can check in the feature, and that's it done. I've now updated the remote shape information. Likewise, it could be Oracle data, SQL Server, as we said before, any form of data we can pull in. If we actually right click on the layer, you will see quite a big range of commands we have down here. We have zoom to extents, make layer selectable. We can actually fine-tune the information we look at. So if I come down to this one here, filter data objects, with this tool I can actually reduce the information I have coming in. The best way of showing this is on our woodland areas. Let me zoom to the extents of our woodland areas. Helps if I turn them on. Now if we zoom in, you'll see that we actually have, and you can see by the legend as well, two types of woodland areas. We have, let's just make this slightly larger so you can see it, ancient and semi-natural woodland and ancient replanted woodland. We can actually use the filters just to narrow down so we can only see one type of data. So right click, query filter data, and in comes my feature source query engine, and I'll say I want to add a new criteria. I could make it location based, where we could tell it to only data within a polygon or within a circle, etc. But in this case I'm going to make it property condition. I'm going to tell it to use my type attribute and tell it only to bring in data that is equal to, I could use in and various different options down here, but by pressing select here, it looks through the attribute data for me, gives me my various options. So if all I'm interested in is my replanted woodland, I just select that option, hit OK, OK, and now once this data is updated, it's updating it now, it's only going to be showing me the replanted woodlands. So one final thing I want to show you on data connections before we move on to another subject is actually how you can transfer data from one data connection for one format to another. So for instance, I may wish my shape data to appear in with my ancient woodland database. I have a Microsoft SQL server, and I wish to put all of my shape data into my SQL server, so as SQL server gets backed up, all of my SSIs etc. get backed up as well. It's relatively easy for us to do. I just go to data, bulk copy, and tell it I want to use my SSI data, and I want to transfer it over to SQL Server. There's some criteria towards the bottom of the page. I won't worry about coordinate systems, and I'm not too bothered about errors being shown for now. We'll just say copy now, and that's it done. 263 objects were copied. So I now just close that down, go to my data connections again, and this time in SQL Server we should see in this list, in fact there we are at the very top of it, my SSIs. So I just now say add to map. There we are, our new SSI information. Let's just zoom to the extent of that so we can see it. So we've used the data connections to transfer my shape data through, in this case, into SQL Server. But you can use it to convert really from any format to any format that has read-write capability. That's the end of this session. If you've got any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to post them. Thank you very much.